Well, welcome back to the Living Island for those who have come along on the trip with me. Last time I spoke about the verticality of the forest from top of the canopy to the forest floor. This time I want to continue with that three-dimensional forest, but looking what happens on the forest floor itself. It's really one of the most distinctive features of the whole forest ecosystem. If you look at it, the organic layer, because that's where everything falls down, it's divided into three different layers. Now, the one we see the most, of course, is the leaf litter. It's the surface, dead leaves, needles, all decaying. Underneath that is the humus that this stuff decaying has decayed to, and it's actually now soil. And right in between the leaf litter and the humus, there's simply a partially decaying layer. So what you have is the stuff that fell in the autumn or in a windstorm. The stuff that fell last year or the year before, break them down, and then stuff that maybe fell 5, 10, 15 years ago, and it's ready to support more life. That's the way nature works. It mainly consists of, again, stuff that's broken, fractured, dead, leaves, branches, bark, stems, all in various stages of decomposition. Even though the forest floor itself is mainly non-living organic material, the forest floor has an abundance of living stuff. There's plants, there's animals, and most of it we never take notice of because of those big trees that get our attention. I find the forest floor more interesting, actually. It's one of the richest components of an ecosystem from the standpoint of biodiversity. There are huge numbers of invertebrates, these little things that you don't even see. Fungi, algae, mosses, bacteria, all sorts of stuff that is just, too small to notice if you don't stop. The amount of material on the forest floor depends on the balance, though, between, we'll call it inputting, from litter production. If trees don't drop those needles and leaves, if a branch doesn't break, if a tree doesn't fall down, and then you get the outputs from the decomposition, making nutrients and the next go round in the ecology. And if you look at it very carefully, you can actually see the disturbance history. That takes a special set of glasses to see, but everything is written there. In the early stages of stand development, shade intolerant, they like sun, nutrient demanding, they want those meals. These are vascular plants that come in. They could be little bushes, little plants, flowers, horsetails, whatever. There's a lot of space, availability of light, soil nutrients. It's right. Let's just say after a fire, everything's gone. as it advances, the stand itself, the overstory, enters a competitive stage where those fast-growing trees go up and the slow ones wait and the slow ones get bigger and the little ones fall down and all of that. This leads to a rapid reduction in both the abundance and the diversity of that shade-intolerant vascular plant community. But it increases the abundance and diversity of shade-tolerant non-vascular plants. So it's sort of like what's good for the goose may not be good for the gander. But what's good for the gander may not be good for the goose. You know, it's one of those things. As the stand matures, the increase of the overstory biomass, just the big volume of tree, of wood, of leaves, and things like that, it reduces the availability of resources down below there. And the competition between the understory and the overstory for soil nutrients is intense. The trees, especially old-growth trees, are sucking up a lot of water. They have huge root systems. They're taking up whatever minerals are in that water and soil and taking it. And the little guy is going, you know, do I get something? Well, maybe not. While that's happening, the overall abundance and diversity of the understory is limited. Sometimes it decreases. When a stand develops further, when those big trees are at their end, you get high mortality rates with winds and storms and stuff like that. But that increases the light, the nutrient levels, and everything else, and all the little guys are going, yeah. These changes in the understory environment create conditions that are favorable then for growth of vascular, non-vascular plants. The increased abundance, the increased diversity, the biodiversity of the understory is greater. So in a sense, let's say after a fire, had you been there first, let's say those northern forests where nothing's growing down there, it's dark, and all of a sudden all those trees are burned out. All of that stuff just comes up like that, and will until the other trees just start coming back in. Climate compromises one of the most critical factors for this determination. It does so because it affects all of the life, animal, plant, all that interconnections, all of those things that go on. It's fascinating what happens when you simply stop and take a closer look at what's going on. You can walk through a woods. I remember people out in the mountains out west, and they would just be driving past a whole group of sheep or a herd of elk as if, didn't you come here to see them? Yeah, they're doing something else. But what about looking at the mountains or that waterfall? No, I got something else to do. Nature is out there, healthy for us, teaching us all the time, and yet we have some place to go like that rabbit who's got to get there first. Stop, smell the roses, breathe it in. Even for a couple minutes, be fully alive. If you like this series, please support us. Patreon, sponsorship, thumbs up, smiles. But until next time, take care.